This is a step that I tried to describe in the Instructable if you're one of the people who's read through that and tried to understand it. And this was the hardest one to describe, and I don't know how people have done it. I think a lot of people have just kind of given up and gone with typical making up stacks of strips of foam to make their bulkheads if they're going to put them in like that. I've gone to doing a lighter weight, just one piece, and in this case it's the piece of deck that I just chopped out of here. And I look at it, this side seems more straight, this side seems more angled. So this side's more straight, that side's more angled. I make a slot to fit it in. And then I'm just going to show the process I use, which, like I said, I tried to describe it, but it's hard to visualize. So basically, you pick up the angle. I'm trying to do this so you can see, but pick up the angle right here. So make a cut like that. And then same thing on this side, just to show. And then obviously that's one thickness. So mark that like that. One thickness right there. So now, looking at it on the end, I have the cut that I just made, which is hard to see on this side. But obviously, that might actually be able to be okay. This one right here, I've made this angled cut like that, and then I've got this here. So I'll make another straight cut. Try and follow that angle in. Alright. It doesn't always go perfectly, but foam is very forgiving. It's one of the great things about it. So now, yeah, that should, and it just did, sit down, but obviously we're running into issues because I'm having to squish it into the hull because this is changing shape. So this one, you notice this step in the hull on the inside. Once again, follow it with the saw and show the height. And then this, I know I'm going to have to profile that. This one on this side, once again, follow and show the height right there. So you see we get an angle, so that's our cut angle, and then the depth we're going to cut it to is the equal of that, and then follow it on this angle, and if we're lucky, this will have all worked out. Now on this, we've got a cut angle again. I want to go to the depth of this cut, which I'm going to make a little bit deeper, so I don't go too deep. And then follow that here again. That one. Make that corner a little bit more square. That's this side, that's this side. Alright, we're closer. Obviously I've got to profile the back of this. This is what's hanging up now. That side's pretty close to going in. So that's where the good tool to use is Stanley Sureform. Harbor Freight makes a knockoff version, which in some ways is better because you can unscrew the handle from straight and put it on so it stands up, which for inside of cockpit rails is better than a handle that's down here because you don't hit your fingers in. And actually what I like to do is hold it like backwards and use my forearm to put pressure. Show that in another video. So I want to see the angle I have here. I want to file this to match that angle. So it's taking off that back corner, so this will fit in a lot smoother. And that was actually kind of pretty good. And this is just, you're kind of making a custom fit, so whatever you're happy with. Obviously it needs to go a little deeper. Alright, that's good. This is not. This is running into on this corner. So here, once again, I will pick up the angle And these, they flex a little, so that's what I'm using to get the height the way I want. This one is actually going to sit right down in once this is out of the way. And I want that, let's go to there to start with. So, once again, we've got our angle, so you can see here, and we've got our depth. And as you can see, this is a very impossible to describe stuff without pictures. Pictures worth 1,000 words, and in this case, absolutely. Okay, so closer, still running into something, and that's where you just gotta take the sure form profile stuff to the right angle. And I would bet this side probably use some of that too. Find out. I'm sure there's nothing underneath here messing me up. Okay. Alright, still hanging up on something here. So, this is where because the other thing is I'm going to tuck this under here, so it's got to push farther in, so I'm going to have to file it anyways. That needs to go deeper. Okay. Still hitting something there, but we're a lot closer than we were. And if we do have gaps, it's not the end of the world. Take a little piece of foam, fill the gap. You know what? I'm running into that step in the back, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. You know what I'm running into? I got glue here on this. That's what I'm hitting. So that's where. Oh, this was a piece that cracked and I had to glue it. Alright, a little bit of pushing and shoving. Not horrible, and once again I'm going to have to profile it a little. Alright, so close enough. I'm going to have to monkey with it a little more, but you get the idea. Just using your depth and your angle. And that gives you, like this right here, I'm going to mark the height. But actually I'm going to cut it right there because I want to tuck it under the deck behind it. So it's always better to cut big and then file the fit, which that's what this is a file basically for foam, or wood. Works better on foam. And then I'll tuck it in and you'll be able to see a nice finished piece. And so there you go. Just I filed and fit and pounded a little. Tighter's better anyways. And got my bulkhead in, set, and 2 feet longer on the cockpit. Aft compartment I can actually reach the back of while I'm on the water, because the other thing is, if you're with another person, you're raft up and the other person can reach in and grab stuff, but by yourself you got to get out on the bank and there's no fun. This makes it a lot better. And if you're like, I'm not really worried about this kind of a gap under some of this. If I was really worried about it, make little strips like that, stick them underneath, put a little gorilla glue right on this leading edge of it as you shove it under. But this is all going to get wrapped with fabric, so it won't matter. So I'm really not too worried about it. There's enough there. I can even pack some of this dust and junk in there, and that will take care of it. And there you go. That's the setup for the boat. I now have bow and stern that are 38 inches, which for me works good. The width of your boat could set that, because like I said, I'm shooting for being able to put a 5-gallon bucket here in those lids, the Gamma Seal lids here in the end. Be able to stuck a bucket in when we go camping. We use those instead of dry bags. And that's what I look for. And this gives me a little bit more room to, jackets and anything extra stuff. Like if you want to bring a blanket and whatever, if you're afraid of falling in cold water, tuck it in there. And if you put it in a bag, it won't get wet. But these hatches, they're not 100% waterproof, but they'll get you through the worst of it. And these boats, I've swamped them before. You'll find the video in the Instructable, but they want to float. They don't want to sink. So very little water will ever get in there and stay.